Okay, so I should do a briefing. Okay, ready?
Make sure your neck is showing.
Neck is up. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am very excited to be with the Dr. Murad. There are some very excited people on my Instagram when I said I was coming to see you. Lots of people just shouting, "Is it Dr. Murad?" It's like, yes, it's the actual man himself. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I'm going to try and keep it down to maybe 5 or 6, just so that we can have like a nice concise piece. And then I'm sure you'll be bombarded afterwards with questions, and in my sort of comments, I'll have to answer those chaps. Though, sorry, I can't expect the doc to jump onto my comment section. So I just want to start by saying, or asking rather, how do you feel the industry has changed since you started, and how many years ago did you start?
Well, I started my business in 1989. That was just a few years ago. At that
just
point,
yesterday.
Yeah, just a little. At that point, it was cleanse, tone, moisturize. That was it. There was no treatment. And treatment was the big thing that changed the industry enormously. It started probably with the alpha hydroxy acids as a treatment ingredient. And beyond that, it spread to everything else, the retinols and the vitamin C's and the peptides and everything else. So there's a tremendous change in the industry. Now, the industry depends on what you call the industry. Part of the industry is obviously retailing products that you put on your skin to make it look better. But the other part of the industry is the aesthetic industry, where you would go to a salon and have a caregiver take care of you, beauty therapist.
Can I just say, I love that you say caregiver. I'm an esthetician too, but I love that you say caregiver, because I think the people who do it the best, that is how it feels. You know, if I do a full day of facials, I'm drained at the end of it, which I think is how you should be, because it's giving.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I call you healthcare provider even more than a caregiver, because you are providing true healthcare. You may or may not realize it. But I ask my estheticians a simple question. Do you treat blood pressure?
No.
Yes, you do.
Well, I treat blood pressure in that I can bring it down, but I would never measure it.
Well, you did. You treat. Yeah. I promise you, the people that went to see you, when they come to see you, their blood pressure is X. By the time they leave, they're relaxed, they're calm, they're like falling.
I might have to move to LA and work for you. This is very much my thinking.
You do treat blood pressure.
Oh, wow. And then my questions are very random, but there's a reason for them. So you talk a lot about the importance of hydration in the body and hydration in the cell. Very coincidentally, I had a blood test a couple of weeks ago, and I drink more water than anyone. And she said, your cells aren't hydrated enough. And I did the usual, but I drink water and I eat da-da-da. And she was saying, yeah, but it's not getting to your cells. What do you think about that? And how can we also help that in terms of skincare? Because I'm hydrated on the surface of the skin, but in terms of the inner workings, because I know water is your thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know, exactly, your doctor was correct. Because what happens to us when we drink water, where does the water go?
Straight through.
Right, okay. So I tell people, eat your water. It's a little more complicated than that, but if you eat water-rich foods, for example, any raw fruit or vegetable is at least 80% water. So an ounce of anything that you enjoy eating that is full of water is about an ounce of water. What else it has is antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. It's in the structure of the fruit or the vegetable, so it's gradually released, so it's more time to get into your cells. And then what it does, it improves your immune system. It actually makes your body more alkaline, resistant to cancer and bone loss. So you get so much more benefit by eating your water. I actually did a random study years ago on my patients. I took just on random 50 people, one after another, asked them how much water they drank, and I measured their hydration level. You wouldn't believe it, but the ones that drank 8 glasses of water a day, now this isn't a real scientific, it was just random, those people actually were less hydrated than the ones who drank 2 or 3 glasses. Why? The 2 or 3 glasses were eating their water, getting all kinds of benefits from the water besides the water.
Well, hopefully it'll improve. I did change after that. I now have like a plate of salad twice a day.
Good.
I'm trying. Okay, another random question. Now we're in the zone. If you are on a strict budget, I'm thinking people who either most people, if they can afford to spend a lot on skincare, will do so. But a lot of people choose not to. But for people who can't, through their, literally through funds, where do you think they should put the majority of their focus? I tend to say it's the middle, the antioxidant, the regenerative, the peptide, retinol sort of area, rather than just buying a really, really expensive moisturizer and hoping for the best.
Well, yes, sometimes more expensive ones aren't as good. The one thing I would say to that is the most expensive product you could buy is a product that doesn't cost very much, that does nothing for you. So you wasted your money. So try to get a product that actually works for you. Maybe you can check and see, ask a friend, ask an esthetician, a beauty therapist, what you feel I need, and tell me the one thing. I think I need professional guidance because it's very hard for somebody to know what they need.
Yeah.
Professional guidance, get what you can afford, but make sure it's something that does something for you.
Not just something that has a fancy label.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what ingredients, where do you think the industry is going in terms of ingredients? It's a two-part question. And where do you think it's going in terms of retail?
Well, in terms of ingredients, I think what we're seeing more is understanding the modern world. The modern world has changed us dramatically. We're being damaged by all kinds of things, all kinds of pollutants that we didn't have before. The blue ray that we've been talking about for a while that comes from your computer and your cell phone. The fact that there's more pollution all over. The rays are not just UVA, UVB, it's all kinds of other rays. So finding things that address the modern world, which includes, for example, an ingredient like lutein to reduce the damage from blue light in formulas. So we will be looking for different ingredients. Certainly there will still also be peptides, antioxidants, alpha hydroxy acids, retinols. Those are the standard, they'll be in all of them.
Yeah.
But these other ingredients are going to come more and more based on the needs of the modern world.
Do you think we need to invent something that pulls your head back so you don't get the mobile phone chin?
Absolutely. I've been sitting like this and I lost my neck. I need my neck to sit up.
I sat down and was like, where's your neck? I'm like, oh God, I've been doing this for days.
But I forgot it. I told you and I put my neck down.
And in terms of retail, because from my point of view, I work in the industry and I see the very, 10 years ago, if a brand came to me and said, we want to be in this retailer and this retailer, it would be a no-brainer where they would choose. Nowadays, I am just as likely to recommend one really good online retailer who can make just as much money and service your customer just as well because their customer service team is really good, as compared to maybe a standard department store format that we knew 20, 30 years ago. Where do you think retail is going?
Well, there's the ice age. The fact that more and more people are buying everything they need online rather than
leaving
going
the
to
house.
retail. Yeah, because what happens is we're spending hours and hours on our cell phone and our computer, and we end up being at home all the time. I ask my employees, how many hours a day do you spend on your cell phone, your computer? 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is in isolation, whether it's at work or at home. And then we don't have time to go out and get something. We can just order it. It comes the next day. If we don't like it, we can return it. However, the real problem with that is we've become more and more socially isolated, more and more lonely. And that's a travesty. That's a bad disease. When people think of loneliness, I don't think they think of it as a disease. I believe it's a silent killer. The more lonely you are, the more angry, the more hostile, the more likely you are to have a sedentary lifestyle, the more likely you are to have diabetes, hypertension, overeating, all of the things that we don't like, but it's all associated a lot of times with the loneliness and the social isolation. So I would say, in order to have the best skincare, certainly buy the best product. But more than having the best product, get the healing power of touch. Get somebody who actually listens to you. Some communication you have with somebody that's going to make a difference. That is as critical as the product you put on your face.
I do think there's definitely a correlation. When I have clients on the bed, the ones who get visibly upset, and they're the ones who've suffered for a long time with their skin, and they say it's the first time they feel someone's listened to them and taken them seriously.
Absolutely. You know what? I know you've seen this. You go to a restaurant and you have 4 people sitting in a restaurant, supposedly friends. Not one of them is looking at each other.
Yeah.
They're all on their own cell phone. Why bother even to go to the restaurant? You're not going to be with that person. I think we don't listen to each other. We're too busy looking at our cell phone. I find that happening with me sometimes too. So it's everybody is having that issue, and it's important to have that connection with somebody, this social connection. You know, more and more I see people who don't understand or know how to communicate with people. They know how to text, they know how to email, they don't use the phone at all, and they don't actually have physical communication one-to-one, where they're listening to each other.
How do you think, what are you excited about for the future? Well, first of all, it's so important for a brand like yours, which I don't know if your team have told you, I don't expect you to have seen it, but I did a video with a friend of mine called Trini Woodall earlier this week actually, where we basically said, we think this is underpriced. And that was a compliment because, you know, for a brand that has your background and your ingredients, you're extremely competitive pricing wise in the market with some of the others, as we would call them, fluff.
Right.
So sort of two-part question maybe to finish with. What are you excited about for the future for ingredients wise? And how do you think it will change the traditional way of press, for example, from 20 years ago, where you would sit down, talk to an editor, and then that would be it? How important is it to you to get your message across about the brand, and how are you doing that via sort of social media and the new way of communicating with your clients?
Yes, it's like everything else in life, it's changed very rapidly. You know, what's interesting, yesterday was the 10th anniversary of the iPhone.
Yeah.
In 10 years, virtually everybody in the world has a smartphone. So things are changing rapidly. To your point, talking to the glossy magazine editors doesn't happen anymore. It's bloggers, it's talking to people like you, communicating that way to get my message across. As far as the costs of my products, one of the things that was always important to me is to make the best product possible available to the most people as possible. So we try to keep the prices down, even though our costs are heavier than some of the more highly priced products. But it's very important that we have products that really work, make a difference in people's lives. The other thing that's very important to me is that in conjunction with the product, there are other things that are important for me to make everybody as healthy and as happy as possible. And certainly the one thing that I feel is the future is people going to have a therapist to take care of their skin, someone that can talk to them, someone can communicate, healing power of touch, all of those things in conjunction with the best skincare make the difference. The best skincare itself, if you're just lonely, upset, angry, you're never going to look attractive. But when you're happy and you're smiling and you feel comfortable with yourself and you feel worthy, then it's going to be so much better. And you can't feel worthy in isolation. You have to have somebody to connect with, someone who cares about you.
As Oprah would say, someone who sees you.
Who sees you, or hears you.
Or hears you.
Yes.
Although
right.
with 4 children, sometimes that's an added bonus, not hearing them. Okay, and then to finish, I'll pick your brain quickly. Ready? 3 worst things you can do for your skin.
Oh, the 3 worst things you could do for your skin probably is not sleep. That's actually one of the worst. Let's see, you don't sleep, so you're going to get a lot of damage. The other is actually using improper skincare.
Using the wrong routine.
Because ingredients and formulas and things that may not be appropriate for your particular problem. Let's see what the last thing that you could do that isn't very good for you. You know, probably it really has to do with attitude and gratitude. I think not having gratitude in your life really reduces how nice your skin looks. Because to me, gratitude demonstrates happiness in your life, a willingness to feel good and worthy. And if you don't feel that, you don't feel worthy, you don't feel like you have gratitude,
it's going to show.
Not good.
I love those answers. I thought you were going to say like smoking, sugar,
well,
you know, the usual, sunshine, the usual. Okay, and then
those, of course.
Yeah, and then the 3 best things. If my viewers are watching and they want to change something in their routine today or something in their lifestyle today to help their skin, what would be your, if someone comes to see you for the first time and they're drastically unhappy, not necessarily just a problematic skin, they're just not happy, they're not getting the glow they want, their skin is dull, or maybe it's acne, or what are the sort of immediate things you would say to them to go away and do, to take sort of responsibility and maybe have a fresh start?
Well, actually, when people come to me, that's sort of what they have. The first thing I do is understand that every cell in your body is connected. Mm-hmm. They may be complaining about their skin, but their skin is connected to everything else. So we talk about overall and actually listen. What is going on? Okay, you don't like your skin. Tell me about your life. What's your job? What are you doing? Are you working too hard?
How stressed are you?
You have a lot of stress. Those are things that really are as important as the physical appearance of your skin. And then there are things that I have done that I think have really made a difference in my patients. Over the years, I've created what I call insights. I have over 500 of them. Insights could be called affirmations, but they're based on things that I've experienced with my patients or even personally. As a matter of fact, I have an app, Dr. Murad Inspiration. It's a free app. And every day you get a piece of my art and one of those apps. So I've asked people to look at that every day and just journal. Look at that every day and journal. Now, some days the app may have no meaning to you. Some days it may have a lot of meaning to you. But if you just do that, the experience has been amazing. I actually had done a study where we took people who had stress, and that's all we asked them to do. But before we started, we did their blood pressure, we measured their hydration, and we did psychological testing. At the end of 1 month, there was a reduction in blood pressure, increase in hydration, and the stress tests were improved. Interesting, we didn't change them. We didn't ask them to change their products. We didn't tell them to do anything. Just those few things. And even when we took pictures before and after, there was a difference in their appearance as if they had used products. Certainly if you used products, that would have been even better. And at this point, we're continuing that study with the UCLA Veterans Hospital with diabetics and seeing if we can improve their diabetes just by having them look at the app as well as looking some cards. We have 11 cards with 11 of those insights. And and it's a really good study. It's independent, it's approved, IRB approved. So there are 30 who are treated normally, 30 who are treated normally, plus all they have to do is look at some of these cards and journal every day. And even journaling, people get tired, they don't want to do it. We say, if you don't want to journal today, just say, I don't want to journal.
Because you're still journaling.
You're still journaling.
That's so nice. It's so much more about internal health and mental health as opposed to just...
But they're combined. You know,
Totally.
when you feel good about yourself, you'll automatically eat better. You'll automatically take care of your skin. You'll automatically do exercise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sharing
So great.
that with us. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, but I think you're going to be hard to beat. I feel like I've started with what's going to be the best, so God knows where we'll go from here.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.